be a second-half team during the 2015 Alamo Bowl here in San Antonio, Texas. However, they couldn't pull through for a win against the UCLA Bruins. He's Tate Steinlage, and I'm Katie Johnston for the K-State Collegian. Tate, the Wildcats suffered a damaging start to the game, down by 25 by the end of the first half. They were unable to secure a second consecutive bowl win. What do you think hurt the Wildcats most during the first half?
You know, we talked a lot about coming into the game that it was going to be about the Brett Hundley show, and you know he was fantastic tonight. He had 11 rushes for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns, but really it was all about Paul Perkins, the great running back for UCLA. He finished with 198 yards and 2 touchdowns on 20 carries, and really was just phenomenal for the Bruins all night long. That read option killed K-State many times tonight, especially on that 67-yard touchdown that really put the game out of reach in the end. You know, K-State had a lot in its tank, and they really showed that in the second half, but when it got down to it, you know, Paul Perkins, Brett Hundley, they were just too much for the Wildcats into the end of the game.
UCLA, a very fine football team, played extremely well. You know, they were just so much better than we were in the first half. You know, the execution wasn't there.
They prepared well, and they executed really well. You know, the first half, I can say that we didn't fit, run our fits very well defensively.
And the Wildcats did start to pick up the pace during the second half, enough to trail the Bruins by 5 points at one time. Tate, what did you see from the offense that contributed to this producer's success?
Yeah, you know, I think the Wildcats, they finally got their footing in the game. I think they were kind of, they got past the shock of being down, 31-6, and they started to mount their comeback. You know, they got some crucial third downs and fourth downs, especially with Tyler Lockett and Curry Sexton. And from there, they were able to just kind of mount their comeback play by play. They made some big plays, but the confidence down the stretch was just huge for K-State. Unfortunately, that 25-point halftime deficit was just too big for them, and Brett Hundley and those guys were just too much for K-State in the end. But you could obviously see in the second half they had much more confidence. They were better sound fundamentally on both sides of the ball. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to get the win Friday night.
Well, yeah, that's just a great example of what can happen. And we knew that we're not going to give up till, like Tyler said, till it says 0-0. And I'm never going to count out my guys. And so we go into the halftime and we just got to correct the mistakes. And we made a few plays here and there, and we were right back in it. We had a chance to win at the end. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and now looking at the defense, what do you think helped them during the entirety of the game? They kind of kept up the pace quite a bit.
Yeah, defensively, K-State wasn't that bad all night. Obviously, they gave up 467 yards of total offense, which is never good. But, they were really good at times, and they stopped the run. That read option was just way too much. But what you saw in the second half, the defense really turned it on and made Hundley think before he really wanted to. There were times they got to him in the backfield, and he had to make a decision really quick. Whereas, on the 67-yard touchdown with Perkins, they were able to sit back there and find their read. So K-State really did a better job of forcing Hundley to make moves, but in the end, like I've said so many times, Paul Perkins and Brett Hundley were just too much, and the offensive line was able to give them enough room to do a lot. But obviously, the defense wasn't as bad as it indicated throughout the evening, and they actually made some big plays when they needed to get some crucial 3-and-outs to help K-State make a comeback.
We tried to come out second half, relentless, try to be fearless, respect everybody, fear no one.
Going into halftime, we understand that we're behind a lot, but this is a group of guys that doesn't quit, and I'm just really proud of my team for pulling us together and trying to be the best that we can be.
Well, this concludes our coverage of the 2015 Alamo Bowl here in San Antonio, Texas. Make sure you stay tuned to KStateCollegian.com for more coverage of the Wildcats.